Hundreds of years in the future, the surface of the Earth has become unlivable. The land scorched by heat, poisoned by storms, and torn apart by disaster is no longer our sanctuary. So where would humanity go when our planet turns against us? Perhaps not into space, but into the ocean. Welcome to Bright Mind Station, where imagination collides with science and survival is always one question away. In today's dive, we're plunging into one of the most fascinating ideas in human history. What if humans lived underwater? Could we build vast cities beneath the waves? Could we survive in biodomes, under giant air bubbles, or inside futuristic glass spheres on the seafloor? Or would the crushing depths and hidden dangers of the ocean claim us before we even begin? Stick around as we explore life support bubbles, underwater skyscrapers, and entire cities floating below the waves. And before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Bright Mind Station, ring the bell, and prepare for an oceanic journey that might just be our future. 1. The Great Migration beneath the waves. If Earth's surface becomes uninhabitable, humanity's only option may be to flee into the sea. With 71% of Earth covered in water, the oceans may be our last untouched frontier. Yet, even today, 80% of our oceans remain unexplored, making them more mysterious than the surface of Mars. Living beneath the waves would be like colonizing an alien planet. The water would be our atmosphere, and the seafloor would be our new Earth. We'd need entirely new tools, technologies, and ways of life. Every dive would be an expedition, every step outside the dome a life-threatening risk. Humanity would truly become pioneers again. This time, not among the stars, but in the crushing blackness below the surface. 2. The population problem. By 2090, Earth's population could reach 11 billion people. That means more mouths to feed, more cities to build, and more strain on fragile ecosystems. Add rising temperatures, megastorms, and runaway diseases, and the surface of Earth could become unrecognizable. As resources run dry, the ocean could become humanity's last refuge. Colonies beneath the waves might relieve the pressure on land-based populations, offering an escape when deserts expand, forests vanish, and cities drown in rising seas. But this migration wouldn't just be about survival. It would redefine what it means to be human, forcing us to evolve socially, biologically, and technologically to fit a world that was never meant for us. 3. Disasters that could push us below. Even if humanity survives climate change, other disasters could force us underwater. Imagine a chain of supervolcanic eruptions that choke the skies with ash, blotting out sunlight for years. The atmosphere itself could become toxic, unbreathable, and deadly. Underwater sanctuaries could become the only safe havens. Beneath the surface, life would continue even as storms ripped across continents and poison filled the air above. The ocean would transform from a mystery into humanity's final refuge, a vast shelter that could mean the difference between extinction and survival. For breathing in a watery world, the first challenge of living underwater is simple but deadly. We can't breathe. Just like astronauts in space, we would depend on technology to cycle air inside domes, tunnels, and living quarters. These biodomes would act like giant bubbles, constantly filtering and replenishing oxygen. But that's only half the battle. Underwater pressure rises with depth, crushing both body and machinery. For every 10 meters, the pressure increases by 1 full atmosphere. At only 25 meters down, humans risk nitrogen narcosis, which causes confusion, hallucinations, and even unconsciousness. To survive long-term, habitats would need precise engineering, artificial atmospheres, and advanced life support systems. Breathing beneath the ocean wouldn't be as simple as filling a tank. It would be a delicate balancing act of chemistry and physics. 5. The bends and the battle with pressure. Even if we solve the air problem, pressure itself is a constant threat. Divers face decompression sickness, also known as the bends, when nitrogen bubbles form in their blood during rapid ascents. These bubbles can block arteries, shred tissues, and kill instantly. Imagine facing that every time you leave home for a quick swim. Every trip outside the dome would require hours of decompression. Every journey would be planned like a spacewalk. This makes it clear deep ocean settlements are unlikely. The crushing abyss would simply be too hostile. If we live underwater, it will be in shallow zones, near the surface where sunlight, air, and pressure are more manageable. 6. Building cities of glass and steel. So, what would underwater cities look like? Futurists have imagined biodomes filled with ecosystems, glass spheres floating beneath the waves, and even spiraling skyscrapers anchored the seafloor. These habitats would house not only humans, but plants, animals, and entire miniature worlds. Inside, life would be carefully controlled. Temperature, humidity, and oxygen finely tuned by powerful life support systems. Every drop of water, every molecule of air would be recycled. These colonies wouldn't just be cities. They would be ecosystems in themselves, isolated bubbles of life floating in the void of the deep. 7. Lessons from Aquarius Reef Base. The dream of underwater living isn't just fantasy, it's already been tested. Off the coast of Florida lies Aquarius Reef Base, the only permanent undersea laboratory in the world. Sitting 15 meters below the surface, it allows scientists, called aquanauts, to live and work beneath the waves. In 2014, Fabien Cousteau lived there for 31 straight days, collecting the equivalent of 2 years of scientific data. But even in this shallow lab, he needed 17 hours of decompression before returning to the surface. Aquarius proves one thing: underwater living is possible, but it comes with enormous risks, time limits, and physical demands that must be overcome before true colonies can exist. 8. Futuristic visions beneath the sea. In 1998, futurist Philip Pauly designed Sub-Biosphere 2, an underwater colony of domes capable of housing people, plants, and even animals. He imagined miniature rainforests, deserts, and coral reefs sealed away beneath the sea. Other projects have pushed the idea further. Japan's Shimizu Corporation proposed a spiral-shaped megastructure, plunging into the ocean and supporting a floating city above. Entire industries could operate below, mining resources from the seabed, while humans thrived in glass habitats above. The blueprints exist. The only question is whether humanity has the will and resources to make them real. 9. The limits of self-sufficiency. The biggest challenge of ocean living isn't technology, it's independence. Right now, humanity relies on the surface for food, fuel, and materials. No underwater dome can yet sustain itself completely. Without constant resupply, colonies would wither and fail. Still, some scientists believe we may one day adopt a hybrid lifestyle, living partly on land, partly beneath the sea. Seasonal migrations could protect us from storms, droughts, or disasters, with underwater refuges acting as backup homes for humanity. It wouldn't be a complete escape, but a new form of survival, humans adapting to both sky and sea. So, could humans ever live underwater? The answer is maybe. The challenges are enormous: pressure, breathing, self-sufficiency, and survival. But the possibilities are just as vast. One day, entire generations may grow up never seeing the open sky, living in glowing domes beneath the waves, surrounded by schools of fish and forests of coral. Humanity's future may not only be in space, it could be waiting for us in the deep. If this journey into the oceanic unknown fascinated you, don't forget to subscribe to Bright Mind Station. Hit that like button and ring the bell for more mind-expanding explorations of science and imagination. Here at Bright Mind Station, we don't just explore what is, we dive into what could be. So stay bold, stay curious, and remember, our greatest frontier might not be among the stars, but hidden in the depths below.